1 minute. Thanks for joining us. We're going to start in just 1 minute. We're going to start in 30 seconds. Thanks everybody for being here. Okay, it is 5:02 and we're going to get started. Hi everyone. Welcome to our virtual college road trip. Today's stop, Tulane University. My name is Amy Fox. I'm the Navigating Parenthood Coordinator for JumpSpark, Atlanta's Jewish Teen Initiative. JumpSpark drives innovative teen programming out of the Jewish Federation of Greater Atlanta, and we are one of 10 communities in North America that comprise the Jewish Teen Funder Collaborative. Spring 2020 marked our very first virtual college road trip. We're super excited that you've joined us today for our month-long journey, offering student-led virtual campus tours, information sessions with college admissions staff and on-site Hillel professionals with real insights on Jewish campus life, webinars, workshops, and more. We're thrilled to bring you over 50 info sessions from colleges and universities across the country. You can follow us on social media at JumpSparkATL and our website, roadtriptocollege.org, and sign up for more sessions to create your own personal road trip. All events are recorded and can be watched on demand through the website. We're really excited today to feature Tulane, a college that is very near and dear to my heart in that I am an alum and a proud parent of a rising freshman at Tulane. Joining us on the call today from Tulane are Owen Knight, Associate Director of Admission. We have two students today, Jordan Schulberg and Micah Kornblum, who are both from Atlanta. And from Hillel is Caroline Reichel, who is the Springboard Innovation Fellow. So as our panelists are presenting, please feel free to enter your questions in the Q&A, and we're going to leave plenty of time to answer your questions during the second half of the webinar. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Owen.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me and thank you for recording this. Appreciate the time. As Ms. Fox said, my name is Owen Knight. I'm Associate Director of Admission for Tulane. I've worked with students from Georgia for my entire Tulane admission career. So this will be my 8th year working with the area, visiting the schools. So definitely familiar with everybody and the schools and the traffic and Atlanta as a whole. I love visiting. I was able to make it up a couple weeks ago for the first time in a while. So it's good to be with you and look forward to working with many of you if you decide to apply to Tulane this year or next year. So I'll just give a little overview about Tulane on more the macro level. I know Caroline is going to go more into the Jewish life specific things, and then Jordan and Micah will share their personal experiences being students here at Tulane. I also was a student at Tulane once upon a time, although as you may have guessed, I am not Jewish. I graduated in 2014. I studied business. I did a marketing and management double major. I was involved in Greek life, club sports, various things on campus. But it's a fantastic place to go to school, as many of you probably have heard from your friends or your camp counselor or whoever. So at Tulane, one thing I hope people always remember is that when you get into Tulane, you get into all 5 of our undergraduate schools. You can see them listed here: liberal arts, science and engineering, business, public health, architecture. The major you put on your application quite literally doesn't matter. We don't read applications differently. We don't look at like your math grades in more depth if you think you're going to be an engineer. Like, we don't care about any of that because over 2/3 of our students change their major. So if you have no idea what you want to do, that is absolutely fine. Or if you have lots of ideas of what you want to do, that is also fine too. You're allowed to double major in 2 schools at once. You don't have to declare a major till the end of your sophomore year. So it is very, very flexible. one of Jordan's fellow interns in the admissions office named Kennedy. She does a dual degree in neuroscience and dance. So you can literally combine whatever you want. So very, very flexible. And I mentioned you have 2 years to figure it out. I changed my major twice when I was a student at Tulane. So you don't need to like stress yourself out about that or feel like you're going to get stuck if you end up changing your mind, which I think is a wonderful thing. Um, so we are a medium-sized institution. We are a research institution as well. I think Tulane is in a really cool position because we do have like the research classification, the research distinction. Carnegie ranks us as a tier 1 institution, which puts us in that top 2% of research schools in the country. So we have, the funding, the lab space on campus, professors who are doing pretty incredible things, but you actually have access to it. Small typo here, that's closer to 7,800 undergraduates, but still very manageable size. Classroom average, you can see there is right around 21 students, 8-to-1 student to faculty ratio. So you're in a very personalized classroom setting. So I think it's really nice because whether you're coming from a Walton or a Weber, you're able to get a new social experience with 8,000 people almost, D1 football, Greek life, some of the traditional aspects of college, some of the things that we grow up seeing on TV, but you actually are able to get to know your professors and get into those labs even as early as your freshman year. So really, really accessible academic opportunities here at Tulane. And I think socially, medium size is really perfect because coming from Atlanta, you'll probably know of a good handful of like friends or friends of friends when you move down here, but it doesn't feel so overwhelming like you're going to college with 40 people from your school or something. So it is a really nice balance. This year, I think we have around 60 people from Georgia coming to Tulane, which is incredible. And hopefully more and more students will keep coming, but I know there's incredible in-state options. I also noticed it says stud nets instead of students, so I apologize about that. Let's see. So some other things you're involved with at Tulane. We are very passionate about service. As I mentioned, I'm not Jewish, but I obviously know that service to your community and community engagement is a big part of Judaism and just overall philosophy there. And I think that's wonderful. And I think that is a reason why Tulane can resonate a lot. And I think we do a pretty good job with our service learning because one of my coworkers made these slides, and I disagree with the language choice here. We call it service learning here rather than community service, because community service is literally something you get assigned if you've been arrested for something, right? Like it can almost be viewed as a punishment sometimes. So I like to think of it as service learning because you are learning from it. It is a collaboration. It is a cooperative effort. You are doing something that you want to be doing. And I think our students really buy into it and are able to find programs like our service dog program, like our architecture design course, where you're able to see the value of the things that you're doing and you're not just going through the motions. I think Tulane does a pretty good job of trying to make students aware of their privilege in the place of in our community in New Orleans and make sure that the relationships are pretty authentic. Tons of organizations and clubs here at Tulane, 16 Division I sports, club sports. I think we have about 33 club sports. So, baseball, lacrosse, rowing, those sorts of sports, tons of intramurals. It's just a very active campus. So even though we're not like the most outdoorsy place in the world in terms of like having mountains and stuff like that, it's easy to spend time outside, enjoy the sunshine, and enjoy the nice New Orleans weather as well. Lots of traditions here at Tulane. Crawfest, I'm sure you've heard of, Mardi Gras here in New Orleans. And then in the fall semester, it's always very busy. Our first football game is going to be against Oklahoma this year. Our move-in process, our orientation week happens right when you move in. So there's a lot going on with the Activities Expo, the Welcome to the Wave, like pep rally. They do a big party at the gym every year. There's a lot of fun events to help you get excited, help you meet people on your floor and get acclimated to our campus. And it's definitely like a very community-based feel on our campus. Everything is close together. There's a traditional campus, so it's not like you're downtown and there's traffic zipping by your dorm or whatever. You're not going to encounter all the bachelor parties on Bourbon Street or anything. It's like you've got a very nice sense of place here on our campus. So it's pretty great. And New Orleans itself, all of that is very accessible. We're only about 10 minutes from the French Quarter, maybe 15. So you are able to go to these festivals. You are able to go eat at these restaurants. You're able to take your friends out to Cafe Du Monde for beignets when they come visit from Atlanta. It really is wonderful having a real city and you're not just living in some rinky-dink town where all there is the college and a couple bars and 6 football games to keep you busy for 4 years. Like you've got one of the most amazing, eclectic, active cities in the entire world. And it's awesome. And Tulane alums like Amy, they plan their vacations around coming to Jazz Fest or coming to homecoming, and it's just a place people want to be. So your friends will want to visit you. You're not going to have to worry about buying flights to some random town in Wyoming, when you're in college. Like, your friends are going to want to come see you here. So incredible food, great outdoor spaces, the history of this city. It's a ton of fun. It's very accessible as a student, but at the same time, it's like when you've got a big test coming up on Monday and you need to stay in all weekend, we are separate enough from it that you can focus when you need to. So it's a perfect balance, I think. A few more pictures here, the service, our new business school building on the bottom left, all sorts of activities always going on the quad. And it's just an exciting place. Like, if any of you have ever taken a tour, if any of you do ever tour, the energy on campus is very warm and positive and friendly, and people just like being active and involved and doing the things that they like to do. The general campus culture is not very competitive. It's much more of a collaborative, supportive, warm environment. Definitely not the type of college where it's just like everyone is very cutthroat and competitive and wants to like crush you. I went to a pretty competitive high school, and I know many of you watching this do as well. And like, I don't know. I think most people who choose to come to Tulane are the type of people who know that there's more to life than like getting a 4.0 and going to an Ivy League school. Like, yes, like that's incredible stuff to do, but you should also be allowed to have a little fun and enjoy yourself during high school and during college. And I think most Tulane kids find the line where they are very intrinsically motivated. They care about school. They like learning. Like, why not work hard? But they're not going to like quit their favorite sport or quit their instrument or stop doing service just because they feel like they should, to like look more impressive or whatever. And I think it creates a much warmer vibe on campus. Applying to Tulane is pretty simple. It's tough to get in, I'm not going to lie to you, but if you know what you're doing and if you do it strategically, it can be much more viable than you think it. The numbers lead you to believe. We have 3 different deadlines. We have a binding early decision, we have a non-binding early action, and then we have regular decision. Full disclosure, if you apply regular decision, you're not going to get in. Like, just don't do it. It's not going to happen. So I'm not even going to tell you when that's due. Binding early decision is due November 1st. Non-binding early action is due November 15th. Obviously, the big difference is that early decision is binding. Many schools offer this. I know Emory has it, Vanderbilt has it, like a lot of our peer institutions do. And you sign a little piece of paper that says, if I get in, I'm going. Full disclosure, Tulane does have less merit scholarship money available for early decision students. So if you are a strong student, you are a competitive applicant, you feel like merit scholarship might be on the table, maybe do early action and then make sure your interest is covered. But if you feel like, a little less confident in your transcript, then you could do early decision, knowing that need-based financial aid is the same for both rounds. So your transcript is the most important thing. We're looking at the rigor on there. We're looking at your grades in high school. We're looking at trends. All of that is important. Testing is optional for this year, and 40% of our incoming freshmen were test optional. So it does not hurt you to not send scores. If you send a bad score, that could hurt you potentially, and we can't unsee it. We are not test blind, but test optional means that not having a score does not hurt you. So if you've got, you can always email me, but generally I say if it starts with a 2, don't send it. 30s and 31s, I would maybe consult with me, depending on where your grades are, and then 32s and up, I would go ahead and send. But yeah, not sending it doesn't hurt. Your resume, extracurricular is very important. Your letters are solid, essays are solid, and then engagement. Tulane is kind of notorious as a school that tracks interest. We want to see that you are engaging with our virtual events, coming for a tour, investing some time into Tulane. Just because we do get so many applications, we don't want to admit thousands and thousands of people have no interest in coming to school here. And it sounds a little harsh, but at the same time, if there's 2 students who on paper are exactly the same, are very strong students, I'd much rather go to bat for the student who's really excited about moving to New Orleans than the one who has never spoken to me before. So it's being human. That's the way we are. There's no app fee. Everyone's considered for merit. As I mentioned, it's pretty rare for those early decision students to get that full 32,000. So if that's a big consideration for your family, I would do early action. And that's pretty much it. I will go ahead and stop sharing. And I believe Caroline is next, or maybe the students. I don't remember. But yeah, appreciate you being here. And thanks.
I think it's us. If I'm not, yeah, it's us. Okay. Hi everyone. My name's Jordan Schulberg. I'm gonna be a senior at Tulane this year. I'm from Atlanta. I went to Pace Academy for high school, and even way before that, I went to Davis. So a little bit about my background. I'm studying psychology. I'm majoring in psychology, but I'm actually double minoring in our liberal arts management minor and also our social innovation and social entrepreneurship minor, which is really cool. It's all about being a change maker in the world. So things I'm involved in on campus. As Owen said earlier, I just became an admissions intern, so I'll be working in the admissions office with Owen. I'm involved in student government at Tulane. I'm involved in Greek life. I've done a bunch of different organizations and activities on campus. So people have questions, I hopefully will be able to answer those. What else? Oh, when I was looking to apply to Tulane, I was one of those students that didn't decide until like the last day you could decide, basically like end of April. So my parents both went to Tulane, and I knew I always loved the school, but I didn't know if Tulane was the right school for me until I really, sat down and did the research. And I came up with 3 things that ultimately stood Tulane apart from all other schools. So the first one was the size of the school. As Owen said before, it's really the perfect size school. We have that spirit of a big school, and you don't feel like you're seeing the same people every single day and doing the same things every single day, but it's also small enough where you have that close community bond. You are able to see familiar faces when you walk around, so you don't feel lost on a college campus. You have that great relationship with your professors. So I absolutely love the size of the school. The second reason I chose Tulane was its emphasis on service. So my high school really valued service, and I'm someone who's always wanted to work for a nonprofit, hence my minor in social innovation entrepreneurship. And so Tulane having that service learning requirement is really awesome, in my opinion. I've worked with Habitat for Humanity. I've worked with Play Build NOLA, working with kids. This year I'm applying for an internship that will also be part of that, which is really cool. And then the third and final reason why I chose Tulane was New Orleans. I think Owen said it really well. Like this school, this city is really like no other. When I was a freshman going through orientation, someone told me it was like leaving the country without a passport. And I've like legitimately never forgotten that, because it really is. There's so much to do in the city. You will never be bored. There's so many parades, so many restaurants, so many cool things that are so unique to New Orleans that aren't just Mardi Gras. And I absolutely love the city, and the fact that I'm a senior makes me so upset. So yeah, those are the reasons why I chose Tulane. So it also has a really, really incredible Jewish population on campus. My friends and I love going to Hillel and Chabad. We get meals there, we go to services there, do programs there. They're really both open for students and a great opportunity for people to get involved. So that's a little bit about me and my Tulane experience. I absolutely love the school. I will talk about the school any day. My parents will talk about the school any day. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them.
Hey guys, my name is Micah Kornblum. I'm going to be a sophomore next year at Tulane. I'm from Atlanta. I went to North Springs High School, and I also went to Davis, and from elementary school to middle school. I just wanted to talk about how incredible of a first year I had at Tulane, even with all of the COVID protocols. I I basically came to school this year with these huge pavilions on all the grass areas, no festivals, nothing, and I still had an incredible semester. One of my favorite things about it is like Jordan said, it is a small school that has the big school feel to it with the city. Like I get to walk around and I see familiar faces almost everywhere I go. I don't ever walk around and see someone I don't know, and I'm only a freshman. So being on that campus and being able to walk around and then having the city of New Orleans to leave and get more of that bigger city feel that a lot of other schools don't give you is really incredible. I am a business major. I am still undecided. I'm not really sure. I think that's also one of the greatest things is I can go in right now. You get into the business school when you get accepted into the school, and then you really like have an open area to just decide what major you want to be. Like I could be finance, I could be management, I have a bunch of different opportunities that I can take advantage of, especially in the business school. And the new Freeman Business School is incredible. It is probably the nicest building in campus, in my opinion. I spend all my time studying there. I do a significant portion of my classes there. And I'm just very excited to keep doing all this stuff with the business school because it is an incredible program. Also, some stuff I'm involved in. I'm in Greek life on Tulane. I am in the program in Hillel called the TJL. It's like the Teen Jewish Leaders. I applied and they kind of give you a outlet to facilitate and create events on campus, which is really nice. I am going to start planning an event soon next year. They have so many opportunities to get involved with on campus, and the Jewish population is very nice. Like if you do want to come and you want to keep in touch with your Judaism without just joining a Jewish Greek life system or something like that, like coming and having the incredible Hillel and the incredible food at Hillel, it's really nice to meet, and it's really easy to just meet a bunch of Jewish people around campus. I cannot wait for next year because with the incredible time that I had with the very limited options that I was able to have due to COVID, I can't even imagine what it's going to be like next year. It really is going to be a special year and a special next 3 years that I'm really excited for. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, just feel free to let us know.
Okay, hi everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name's Caroline and I am a current Springboard Innovation Fellow for Tulane Hillel. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen really quick. Just bear with me a moment. Of all the things I've learned in my first year working for Hillel, I have not quite mastered screen sharing. Let's see here. Whoop, give me a second, sorry. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm Caroline, current Springboard Innovation Fellow. This is my very first year working for Tulane Hillel that I just finished. As I was saying earlier to everybody, I kind of feel like I just finished up my freshman year at Tulane. But a little about myself briefly. I graduated last year from Purdue University, and I'm from the Chicago suburbs. And this is my first year living in New Orleans. So being said, I'm gonna go forward to my first slide. So I'm gonna talk a little bit first about who we are. So I would describe to students and parents visiting Tulane Hillel as an inclusive home for anybody on campus. We cater to students regardless of your religious affiliation and your background growing up. We have students come in who know a lot about Judaism, and some who know just a little bit about Judaism and are looking to explore more, and some people who just know they're Jewish and are just looking to meet other Jewish students on campus. And it's really cool getting to interact with students who come from all sorts of backgrounds, all sorts of home styles, and everybody kind of coming for like the same purpose of like meeting new people and building their own Jewish community. And as you can see, numbers are reflected. We engage over 2,500 Jewish undergraduates, there are over 300 members of Tulane Jewish Leaders, or TJL, which Micah touched on, but I will go a little bit further into depth later. And we also have, well, now we have about 20 student interns and staff on board with us. We are bringing on a few new people next year that we are really thrilled to have. So next, I talk a little bit about what we do. So we really have so many ways of building and serving Tulane's Jewish community on campus, and we do this through the events and programs that we that bring together like-minded individuals. And frequently students meet one another by attending our programming that is catered towards their interests, whether it be a hobby or just wanting to meet more people on campus. And our events and programs are oftentimes centered around Jewish life and learning. Wellness programming such as yoga or succulent planting was really popular this year, especially through the pandemic. Wellness programming was extremely popular, and also community service too. So TJL, you might be thinking, how do we do all of this? So TJL is our flagship leadership program called Tulane Jewish Leaders, and it's the starting point and platform for all of our endeavors. So students typically apply to TJL in their fall semester, and then they could kind of, we recommend that you attend events and you meet other members of TJL and attend programming before you kind of get started with your own planning. So students usually do this in their spring semester. The cool thing about TJL is that there's no regular time commitment and there are no fees involved. The only thing we ask of you is that you do plan one program throughout your time at Tulane. And most students plan more than one. A lot of students plan more than 3 or more than 5 even. It's really all about what you feel like you're interested in doing and kind of what you can handle with your course load each semester. So every student who's a part of TJL gets assigned a mentor. I'm one of those mentors. So I have roughly 90 students that are in my portfolio. Many of them I meet with regularly, and I've had the lovely opportunity to really build a relationship with them and to get to know them. And this helps us because my understanding of students and my ability to have relationships is number one, is part of bringing together the community on campus. And also it gives me a way to understand what students are looking for and what Hillel can do to make students experience even better and to really be that Jewish home away from home. So we had this year, I'm really thrilled to be able to share. We usually have over 130 programs and opportunities to get involved annually. And this year, even throughout the pandemic, we did indeed reach this goal again. Things did look a little different. Most of our programming was some sort of hybrid platform with an in-person segment or completely virtual. And we were kind of able to, thankfully, we were really able to make sure that students were able to be involved and make those personal connections, which we value so much, while also keeping everybody safe. And we also have over 150 connections with community and campus partners. Frequently, our programming can be centered around somewhere else in New Orleans. So for example, community service, or thank you, Owen, I love that term, but community service learning was really popular this year, again, especially through the pandemic. And we were still able to go to a lot of offsite places. We did tree planting was really popular, and we were able to work with an organization in New Orleans that does tree planting. So that's a great example of a program that felt safe for everybody. We were outdoors the entire time, and we were able to do multiple groups in small numbers. So I'm really pleased to have still been able to put on so many incredible events and programs with students that we were able to still feel like everyone was kept safe. So how to get involved. One of the biggest things that I would say, and I would recommend for freshmen who are looking to get involved in Hillel, is to just come and hang out at the building. I personally love our building. I feel like it's beautiful, and it's a great tribute to the street we're on. We're on Broadway, which is a main, right on a main part of campus. We're really central to a lot of the housing. Even the furthest dorm from Hillel is really only about a 10-minute walk away. And as you can see in the pictures, we have a lovely balcony, which is really nice. And we also have a lot of study space. And this year, our study space became sign up only for safety precautions. However, students are welcome to drop by at any time. And I know some students come in between classes just to hang out, meet with their friends. And there's some students who, at the end of the work day, I say, I think you've been here longer than me, because students love spending all of their time here studying. And it's just a really welcoming environment for whatever you're really looking for, but just come hang out. That's the biggest way that I would recommend getting involved. And then in addition, we also house, we also house in our building a kosher restaurant. It's called Ramon. It's very popular, as both Micah and Jordan had mentioned. So it's a completely kosher kitchen. And also students are able to sign up for a kosher meal plan and are able to use their meal swipes at the restaurant. And it's also another attribute to being so close to campus is that since there are students who depend on Ramon for their kosher food, it's great to be in such a central place. It's just very accessible for those students who have that need. So with all that being said, definitely connect with us. Listed here is the Instagram page for Tulane Hillel. I also left my email here and I will put it in the comments as well. I'm happy to answer any additional questions. Also happy to connect any parents, connect with any parents and students who are looking to sign up for a tour of our building when you come visit, that sort of thing. But it's been great to get to share all of this with you, and I'm looking forward to answering any additional questions.
Thank you so much to all of our presenters. That was terrific. Would love to move into some Q&A. If you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A. So I'd like to start with Owen and talking about safety, because that's what parents are really thinking about. It's top of mind. How do we keep our kids safe in a big city like New Orleans? What should students know?
Yeah. So, I mean, Atlanta's a big city too, right? And there's certain parts that you necessarily wouldn't want to be walking around alone at 3 a.m. in Atlanta, and same goes for New Orleans. And fortunately, our neighborhood is extremely residential. Uptown is very safe. Like Drew Brees lives like 3 blocks from campus. Like it is very, very safe. The crime that we do have is very similar to most college towns in terms of like laptops going missing every now and then, car break-ins, the wayward apartment break-in. But the violent crime of New Orleans that you see on the news in Atlanta is typically happening 30-40 minutes from where we live. So that definitely is comforting. As college students, unfortunately, a lot of what happens amongst college students is done by other college students. So I think having good conversations as families around sexual violence and things of that nature before your student goes to college is really important to address as a family. And then also just like, the important life lesson of just being street smart, using the tools that schools give you and that cities give you to stay safe. So for example, Tulane has a free app on your phone called Tap Ride, where it's like a free Uber essentially. So if you're out late studying, or if you're at Hillel studying, or if you're at a friend's house, or if you're at a party, or you're at the library and you need to get home, you can call it on your phone. You see where the bus is, and then you can stay inside until you need to hop on. Back when I was at Tulane, we just had to call the number and then just wait outside and hope to flag them down whenever they went by. But yeah, definitely much more safe now. Tulane police will escort you wherever. They've got a lot of people biking around. We also have a lot of unarmed security guards as well, and they hang out in the lobby of all the dorms, so no random like looky-loos just like wander into a residence hall or anything like that. So overall, there's a lot that campus does to stay safe, and then just the geography of New Orleans leads it to be a pretty calm and quiet area. And there's definite like distinct boundaries of like what is campus and what isn't. But yeah, just growing up in a city, I'm sure all the students watching this have a good sense of what to do. If you're at Music Midtown with your friends, you try not to lose anyone, you stay together, things of that nature. Same goes for if you're at Mardi Gras or whatever, what you're doing, but just taking precautions and being aware of your surroundings, and it'll all work out.
Thank you. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the transition into college, because I know that students feel like, they're so thrilled when they finally get in and they think they're going to go in freshman year. It's going to be like the best, most amazing experience right off the bat, but it's not always like that. There is a transition. Jordan, can you talk a little bit about that transition and what your freshman year was like?
Yeah, oh my gosh, it was so long ago at this point. So I like to say that Tulane's was a really nice transition for me. I was really lucky to say that. And I think one of the reasons why it was is because I immediately looked for ways to get involved on campus. And like everyone says that, and I always used to think they were just saying things to try to ease transitions. But Tulane has this huge activities expo at the beginning of the year, and all of our like 200 plus organizations stand in lines, and they're kind of like trying to get you to join their activities in their clubs. So I started by joining a few clubs. One of them was the Freshman Leadership Program, which is kind of affiliated with student government. It's like a small cohort of 30 people talking about leadership on campus. The best experience of my freshman year. But I started by just applying to a bunch of those things, and I met some of my best friends through that. I know a lot of people are also worried that Tulane does second semester recruitment, but I always will say this: second semester recruitment for girls is the greatest thing Tulane could ever do, because it gives you time to actually get to know the campus, get to know what you want to get involved in, get to know like people outside of what your Greek organization might be, and then you get this full added network, which is so nice. And it's also nice because I think we're like 40% of students do Greek life, participate in Greek life, and so it's really not a big percentage of schools. So you have those networks outside of just Greek life, and you have friends from all over. So I think transitioning to Tulane, you really just need to like, it is what you make of it. And luckily Tulane has so many of these programs created and implemented so that you are able to transition. One other thing, and then I'll stop talking about this, but we also have something called our Tides class, which is, I think of it as like a transitions class onto campus. It's a way to get integrated into the New Orleans community and also the Tulane campus. So there's all different types of Tides. It's a small class. I think they cap off at 12 students. I need to refresh my Tulane memory, but it's really nice because you get a mentor that's a sophomore, and they meet with you a few times a semester and really make sure that you're transitioning onto campus and getting to know different areas of campus. Oh, max is 15, thank you. But there's all different types of Tides, so it's really like interest-based. You have your business Tides classes, you have like, I think they have salsa dancing Tides, like running Tides. I participated in community engagement and nonprofit work Tides, so that's where I worked with Habitat for Humanity. But that was a really, really great way to also meet people, because it's a smaller group. Classes are a great way to meet people. There's a lot of things set up for you to meet people and get to know campus. And campus isn't that big, so you'll learn it pretty quickly.
Great. Micah, I know that your entry into Tulane was a little bit different than Jordan's freshman year entry, but talk a little bit about what it was like for you to enter, and how did you adjust to life in college and at
I
Tulane?
mean, yeah, it definitely was a little bit different than hers, considering that I spent about 6 months in quarantine before going to school. So there definitely was a little bit of an adjustment, but like what Jordan said, I think that the second semester rush is one of the best things Tulane does. I was actually very against it when I was like, I was just like, oh, like, that's kind of annoying that we have to wait 6 months for this to happen. But then when you really like, you move into your dorm and you get to know the kids on your floor, and then you have like, so you make this group of friends on your floor, and then you get to have, even if you're not in Greek life, you'll have friends who are in Greek life and not in Greek life, which is a very, very like beneficial thing, especially in Tulane where it is 40% Greek life. So something like that just made the transition so much easier. Like I was able to just walk into my dorm and basically walk into whatever room I wanted to walk into. I knew everyone on my floor, which when I talked to kids at other schools like UGA or other, like all my friends there, they're telling me that their friends are exclusively basically in their fraternities or in their clubs that they're in. But since we are able to have 6 months of kind of figuring out our place and being able to find different people and different activities to do, it makes the transition so much easier. And it was something that I did not expect, but I was thrilled that it was much easier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Great, thank you. So Owen, I'm wondering if you can address sort of what support Tulane has for mental health, students' mental health, especially now the numbers of students who are really struggling with anxiety, especially after this crazy year. It's just, sky high. what does Tulane have to offer to those students?
Yeah, staff too, let me tell you. No, yeah, no, Tulane does a really good job. I think we had kind of, I don't want to say a reckoning, but a few years back, Tulane really started taking mental health more seriously, and just like culturally, the conversations around mental health became much less taboo, much more open. And that's something I respect a lot about Gen Z. Like compared to when I was in college, Gen Zers are much more in touch with their mental health and willing to tell their friends and talk about it and be open and, seek out resources. So our main resource is CAPS, Counseling and Psychological Services. They do offer individual appointments, basically individual therapy appointments. And I believe students get 12 free ones a year. And then they also run like group sessions, for like homesickness or for, students of color or just various groups. If you want to go in a more just group setting and just, feel like you're not the only one going through this situation. And I think at Tulane, that's the case because, on average, students are over 900 miles away from home. Even if you're from, Atlanta, Metro Atlanta, most of your friends are at UGA, like Micah said, and it can be a little lonely. And it's a transition, and to be fully honest, I didn't love Tulane my first semester. It took me a little bit to get into my groove. And as Jordan mentioned, going to the activities expo was huge, but I was like, too chicken to actually follow through and sign up and go to events for things. So once I, got settled, it was great and I love it. But yeah, putting yourself out there is a little tough. So you want to make sure you're doing that. But yeah, CAPS is wonderful. There's also folks called success coaches, which are kind of a hybrid therapist slash academic advisor who can help you kind of with your study strategies and organizational tips, time management, that sort of thing to help you with the transition. Because for me, coming from high school, I worked very hard in high school. I was not a 4.0 student by any means, but I took a very rigorous schedule. I played 2 sports. I was out of the house like 12 hours a day when I was in high school. Then you get to college, and then all of a sudden you're in class for 3 hours a day, and you live in New Orleans. It's very easy to get distracted and not, just kick the can on your calculus homework and say, oh, it's due next week. It's due next week. So success coaches are really good people to help you kind of like, strategize and get used to being an adult in college and living your life that way. But yeah, mental health, it's a great community. I think the Greek communities are having a lot more conversations on mental health as well. And it's really just kind of across the board. It's just much more normalized and talked about. And I think it's wonderful. So yeah.
Absolutely. It's so important. So I love that. So you have a success coach. What about other kinds of like tutoring or peer-to-peer tutoring? Micah or Jordan would love to hear from you if you've accessed any of that information, any of those resources.
Yeah, so a lot of our larger classes have SIs or TAs, so supplemental instructors or teachers assistants. These individuals will host office hours aside from the office hours that your professors host also. And those are great ways to get extra help. I went to my SI all the time when I was taking a business class that I just was not ready to take. We also have academic advisors that have really helped me stay on track at Tulane. Everyone's assigned an advisor when they come to Tulane, actually even before you get to your freshman year, and they help you plan your schedule every single semester and make sure that you're getting the credits you need to graduate. I didn't declare my major, or I like fake declared my major by I didn't do it till sophomore year. And so, but I'm still on track to graduate early if I wanted to, just because my advisor was making sure I was getting those core curriculum classes checked off, but also balancing like exploring other classes and finding the major I really want to be. They also are great when you want to go abroad to try to plan out your schedule, make sure you're on track for that. I was all ready to go abroad until obviously Corona hit, didn't get to do that, but there's a lot of really good resources. One of my friends was actually an SI. She's also done peer tutoring. So you have that opportunity to apply to be a peer tutor in classes that you feel very confident in. And you can apply to get one of those tutors. There's tutoring services at the tutoring center that you can also get. There's a lot of opportunities for extra help. And I think that's one of the benefits of going to a smaller school is that you really do get that interaction and that personal time. To me, that felt a lot more like high school, where if I had a question, I could go to my teacher, my professor really easily. I feel like you get that at Tulane.
Okay, so we have a question in the Q&A. Actually, there's one person's asked a couple of different questions. So the first is, are double majors across schools manageable?
Yeah, so that's called the dual degree, and it is very doable. I mentioned me and Jordan's I guess coworker Kennedy, who's doing neuro and dance. She'll end up graduating with a BA in dance and a BS in neuroscience. So it is more work, but it's still doable, especially if you know like what you're doing ahead of time. If you come in with some AP or IB credit, very, very doable for sure.
Great. Also, well, let's go to the third part of this question. Do students interact across the 5 schools? Owen, you want to go for that one?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I sorry, I thought we were both vigorously nodding. Like, yeah, you don't, it's not like Hogwarts. Like, no one cares. Like, you just do. Geez, people make fun of millennials for talking about Harry Potter as references, but it's just like so ingrained in my brain to use that. But like, it really, no one cares. It's not like a thing. Like, you'll invite your friends to come study in the business school with you if you're in the B school and they're not. Like, it's very much not a competitive thing. And a lot of your friend group is dictated based on the activities you do. And so many of those are not academic that it just kind of all blurs together, which was great. So I liked that my friends, their brains work differently than mine did. It's cool now because now some of my friends are attorneys and some of them are doctors and some of them like do all this wild stuff. And it's pretty cool to see.
Also, all 5 of the schools have the same core curriculum. So I'll be taking classes with my pre-med friends and we're still both checking off credits, which is also interesting to take like an English class with my friend who loves biology. Like it's a fun thing to do. And I still study in the same room as all my pre-med friends, as Owen said. I think there's more pre-med students in the B school studying than there are business students because they have such good study rooms. So it's really like a collaborative environment, much more than a competitive one.
Very good. And the last piece is, how would you characterize the student body? Which I think is a tough question because it is pretty diverse. But do you want to talk a little bit to that, Owen?
I was going to let the students go first, and then I can. Yeah,
Mike, you want to go?
Yeah. I mean, I don't really think there's a specific way to characterize the student body. Everyone is just very nice. Like pretty much everyone I meet is very friendly and hardworking. Like everyone is always doing their work, even if they're you'll see people playing on the field or working out or doing stuff, but then they're also always working. Like everyone is at Tulane for a reason. It is because they are very smart. We are all very smart kids who do care a lot about school. So like I would say Tulane is very much a work hard, play hard school, and like people know how to have fun and they know like what kind of activities they like to do, and if they want to play sports they'll go play sports, but then they'll also take their time and they'll do their work. And I think that's like the best way to characterize the school, because there's no really like specific personality, but there is like a kind of similar work hard, play hard kind of experience that everyone has there.
I would also say there's something that you said that really resonated with me about like being friendly. I've always said that I think Tulane has legitimately good people at our school. I remember someone who doesn't go to Tulane was visiting me, and we were walking around campus and I was saying hi to like everyone I saw, to the point where she goes, "Why is everyone being so fake and like saying hi to each other?" And I was like, "No, that's just like legitimately what we do here." I think we have like a really strong community bond at this school, and people really do watch out for each other. And I think that is just attributed with how we all feel safe on the campus. And yeah, so I feel like it's a very much like a community bond, a small school watching out for each other, very spirited school, and a very hardworking school also.
Anything to add to that, Owen?
No, I don't. I think they hit it on it all, because yeah, like what I always say, Micah touched on it. It's like everyone does legitimately like want to work hard and they care about school and for the right reasons. I think everyone on this call and a lot of people watching have grown up in school communities where people are just kind of going through the motions just to look fancy so they can get into an Ivy League school, and they don't actually do stuff that they care about. They do stuff because they think it'll make them look better. And I think it's kind of a sad way to live your life, to be honest. And I think Tulane kids feel the same way. They would do things because they like doing them, and they chose Tulane because it is an excellent academic school and a place where they can like be themselves and in their life while they're getting a really solid education. And yeah, it's just I'm glad to hear the students kind of co-sign everything that I say when I give these sessions. And I like to think the students really are like, they are good people and just like warm and friendly. And it's just very good energy on our campus for sure.
I agree with what everybody said. I also think it's very cool. People come from everywhere. So all over the country, all outside of the country. It's a very, very diverse school geographically, and it's wonderful to have friends all over the world when you graduate from there. So I wanted to talk a little bit about anti-Semitism. That is something that is on everybody's mind right now in the Jewish community, and specifically on college campuses. I'm wondering, Caroline, if you might talk a little bit to that, and sort of what has or Jordan and Micah, have you ever experienced that on campus? I think that's something that teens and their parents are worried about.
So that's a great question and a really important question. I would love to share this first off, is that I have a very close relationship with the other people who are fellows at Hillels across the country, and Tulane by far deals with the least amount of issues surrounding anti-Semitism. I can speak from personal experience, having come from a university that had rampant anti-Semitism that I worked very hard to condemn before coming to work at Tulane. That Tulane not only does not really necessarily see that as frequently as a lot of places, I think because there is such a large Jewish community, but I also feel very strongly on this, really based off of my experience that, again, I only graduated a year ago, that the students at Tulane care about each other, and the community is extremely open to students of all kinds of backgrounds. And I really don't see anti-Semitism as a huge issue here, which I'm grateful for. Officially, Hillel, of course, condemns any form of hate on campus, no matter what group it's geared towards. Yeah.
How about you, Jordan?
I mean, yeah, the past three years, I don't think I've ever experienced anti-Semitism on campus. And I think that's like such a blessing to be able to say, especially when you see the news recently, it's been very scary. And even over the past couple of years at like schools that like my family members go to, my friends go to, I think just such a good example of how Tulane and like Jewish individuals operate is Chabad puts on an event every year. Obviously it didn't happen this year, but it's called Shabbat 1000. And it's supposed to be 1,000, but it's like way more at this point. Over 1,000 students come onto the quad and have Shabbat. And like, you will see all different students. My roommate of the past 3 years isn't Jewish. She comes every single year. I think she enjoys it more than anyone else. She like stands on the table dancing. But students from all across campus, Jewish and non-Jewish, come to these events. Hillel puts on so many events that non-Jewish students go to. Ramon brings in every student. Like it just really is like just not prevalent, at least that I've experienced. And if it was, Tulane students are very, very quick to call things out, to support each other. And I really do feel confident that if there was a hate act on this campus, it would be called out and students would take action against it.
Excellent. Thank you for that. So we are going to just wrap things up. I'd love to give maybe each of you, another 30 seconds to just tell our audience, why Tulane, and just parting words that you might have. Owen, you want to start?
Well, I'll just say I'm really glad to hear all y'all say that. I think that's been my experience as well. And the anecdote I would add also is like I was in a fraternity. It was not one of the Jewish fraternities, but half my pledge class was Jewish. Like it's very open and welcome. And like Jordan was talking about, like Jewish culture and Jewish life is just kind of integrated into Tulane life. And it's definitely not like viewed as othered, and everyone's included. It's very cool. And I've even been to Shabbat 1000. But yeah, I think Tulane is a great place to go to school, regardless of what you want to study. If you want to meet open open-minded, fun, smart people. And as I mentioned, I work with everyone from Georgia. So all my email is just oknight@tulane.edu, or if you just Google me, you'll find my email. So look forward to working with many of you, hopefully.
Awesome. Micah?
All I want to say is I just think that Tulane is an incredible school. I was deciding between UGA and Tulane, and I think being able to come to Tulane and kind of come to a place where not everyone's from Georgia, you don't know that many people, like it really is really cool because you do also have that similarity. There are a significant portion of Jewish people. So by coming to Tulane, you're not really missing out on a lot of what you think you might have been missing out on by going and joining a Jewish fraternity at UGA. It's really just an incredible place where everyone is very friendly and open to be there for you and just have a great time. It really has been the right decision, and I have not regretted it once since I've stepped on campus.
Awesome. Caroline?
My parting words, I would just love to reiterate again how much Hillel looks to be a home for students, Jewish and non-Jewish. One of my favorite parts of the job has been watching students walk through our doors, feeling like a scared freshman and leaving with a new friend or somebody new that they met that lives on their floor. So I think that we really are a hub for friendship and connection. And Hillel wants to be that place for your students. So,
Jordan?
Yeah, I guess just to summarize everyone, like I really, really love this school. Like I said before, like the fact that I only have a year left makes me actually want to cry, but I'm excited to forever be in like the Tulane alumni because I think it's a great alumni basis to be in. I absolutely love the school. If anyone has any questions, I love talking about the school. So my email is jschulberg@tulane.edu. Also, I'm sure you can look me up on the Tulane tour guide website, might be there. But yeah, if anyone has questions, I absolutely love the school, and that's really all I can say about it.
You guys, thank you so much to Owen and Caroline, Jordan and Micah for your time, for your expertise, sharing your passion for Tulane. We also want to thank Sarah Newberger, who was our bus driver today, who was on Instagram. We'd be so grateful if everybody who was on this call could just participate in our survey that's going to pop up on your screen after the session. We invite you to continue to jump on the bus with us at roadtriptocollege.org. I put that in the chat. And follow us on social media at JumpSparkATL. Again, all of our sessions are recorded, so you can access them on our YouTube channel, which can be found on the website. And just have a great evening, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.